Hey guys, we're here live for the Thai Massage Jam. I hope you guys have a partner you can work with. These are really designed for you to be able to work with us. Though we appreciate it if you just watch these. We really want you to work with your partner, loved ones, friend, family, colleagues, just to learn a little give and share sequence. Tonight we're going to go over neck work and then the face. I don't talk about like face massage a lot, but it's really, really good for people. And we're in a situation where you've got tons of musculature in the face. And just to give you an idea, I'm going to flip up and not go over every little muscle. You don't need to remember this or memorize it, but you're dealing with tons of muscle through the face that deal with facial expression. And one of the muscles that I wanted to deal with very specifically that people have problems with, that I think of more as a muscle of mastication, of chewing, but of the face, is temporalis. Temporalis is up right around the temples. And a lot of people who have headaches, cases of bruxism, grinding their teeth, things like that. I love scalp massage. I have long hair, so it tends to pull on my scalp. So receiving like a nice scalp massage that addresses temporalis is really, really great. Just so you get an idea, we'll go over a little bit of specificity, like a few muscles in the neck, but you're also dealing with just inordinately complex structures. Primarily, what you're going to do is, if you see the sternocleidomastoid right there on the left, you want to stay posterior or behind that muscle. If you go in front of that muscle, you hit the carotid artery. And generally, not a good idea to press on people's carotid arteries unless you were doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you're well trained with an instructor. No carotid artery. So it's not the front, it's the side and then the posterior, the stuff in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and give first. I'm gonna have Kristen just lay down on her side. Typically what you'll have the person do is put the problem side up. And I'm gonna take one of my blankets so I can bolster her. This is gonna make it easier for her to relax through her hips. I made like a round with my bolsters here. Then we're gonna have one leg up and over. How's that?
Good.
Got enough support there?
Yeah.
Cool. So just to open this up, dealing with the neck, I feel like we're also dealing with the upper back. You can't really address one area of the body without getting into both over time. So one of the areas we want to address first is the levator scapula and the trapezius. Levator scapula, it elevates the shoulder blade. It elevates the scapula. It lifts the shoulder blade. But is that an upper back muscle or is that a neck muscle? Do you see the distinction between the two? And then on the trapezius, you have an upper, I think a middle, and then a lower portion. The upper portion is what we want to deal with by being able to lengthen both levator scapula and the trapezius. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to come in and I'm going to sit. So I'm going to make sure my microphone is out of the way there. Oh, and I want to be able to sit right next to Kristen. I actually don't want to maintain this space. This feels very disconnected. This is not nearly as nurturing, not nearly as fun, not nearly as effective as if I scoot in so that I can actually press against her. And what that's going to allow is I'm able to wrap my arm around, get this nice little handle over the shoulder. And what I want to do is kind of lean down because I want to pull open that levator scapula and trapezius. You see how low and slow that was? That was one pass. We're going to do this progressively. As I lean back, low and slow. How you doing there, Kristen?
Good.
I can see your face. You look like you're doing okay.
Doing okay.
So I'm leaning down, but I'm also leaning back at the same time. Pulling that back and open. Leaning back. Opening the neck. You see all that head and neck movement? Just because I'm not pressing here doesn't mean it's not effective there. I'm pulling to be able to lengthen that area. So when I lean back, pulls down, pulls down, pulls down, pulls down, right in there. It's like I'm trying to get her to let me have her shoulder blade. So I can move this around, open it up. And I'll go for another pass. There we go. And from right here, you can see that her head is a little bit back. I want to create a little more space, a little more length on these posterior neck muscles. I'm going to bring her head forward and then bring her arm to her side comfortably so she can stack. I'm trying to create some open space here because I want to be able to get into this section of the neck. Do you see how I'm at either the side or to the posterior? This is the meat. This is where I can press right in there. Now we're getting general neck muscles, but what I really want to focus on and kind of get into is semispinalis capitis. There's also splenius capitis, by the way, and the suboccipitals. Do you see how from this side position, I'm going to be able to compress those? This is going to be pretty effortless. It's really, really amazing neck work. And then, Kristen, do you need a little more head support or are you good how you are?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sometimes if you have a pillow and it's extremely squishy, they'll go from like their head's at neutral to like it's craned over, and you don't necessarily want that. No. What I do want you to do is just communicate with the receiver, ask them for feedback on what you're doing and how it feels as we go. So I'm going to change my body position because I want to be able to come in and I want to be able to sit comfortably. I'm going to get this passive kind of receptive hand under my thigh, and then I'm going to come in and start to lean down. You see how I can kind of pull the shoulder down? I want to create a little space, but I'm pressing very clearly in the posterior, in the back. Even though from this angle it looks like I'm up and going straight down, I'm definitely in the posterior, leaning to the back, hitting those muscles. Ooh. And what other muscles? Oh, levator, scapula, and trapezius. Right up through there. Now, if I want more pressure, I could stack my shoulder above my elbow. Is that too much, Kristen?
No.
Okay. Do you want more?
No, good.
Okay. So from here, I've kind of grabbed skin. I'm going to do the following. Do you want me to shear like up a little bit? Or down?
Maybe up.
Up a little bit? Tell me when.
When?
There we go. No more pressure than that?
Okay.
There we go. Really, really good neck work. The other thing is this is almost completely effortless to deliver. The only thing I can think of where you wouldn't do this is somebody had a fresh neck surgery of some sort. Not a freck, a fresh neck surgery. Somebody has herniated discs, bulges, something like that that's causing excruciating pain. They need to see a professional, either a doctor or a therapist, to be able to work on some soft tissue. But otherwise, I think this is safe for the general population. If you had somebody who had osteoporosis, not so much, right? It's a deep compression. So I'm going to lean in just a little bit more. Is that too much? Or right there. There we go. Usually I can hit about 3 spaces or 3 spots, kind of the base of the neck, the middle of the neck, and then the upper portion. I can usually, on somebody's neck, depending on its length, hit like 3 different spots. But I'm just stacking body weight to be able to lean in right here. Totally just hanging out, right? Totally easy, totally calm. I can start to vary just a little bit. I could go shear that way. I could shear this way. I could shear up. I could shear down. And in her case, just a little bit up. How's that?
Good.
Okay. Do you want more to the front? More to the back?
More to the back.
More to the back. One of the things about the communication that's so good is she doesn't have to wonder if I'm going to hit the spot, because she's telling me. Once she's trained, she goes right into that spot. Don't feel like you're hurting their massage by talking to them verbally. We're trying to get feedback about pressure.
Yeah.
General to specific, superficial to deep. You start with a broad tool. Now, I'm generally more on my ulna, kind of a big, broad forearm. What would happen if I put a pointy elbow? Ow. Right there? Okay. And from here, I'm going to lift. I'm going to come up and then put my forearm just a little bit higher. Right. More towards the suboccipitals, more towards the base. Still in the posterior, but I'm definitely more at the base of the skull, getting towards the suboccipitals. What do you think? A little bit up?
Yeah.
Okay. A little more to the front, a little more to the back. What do you think there? Then a little up. She gives thumbs up. This is the universal sign of please continue. Feel free to breathe, meditate, zone out. Think about the future of our world and our species and whether we're going to go out into the Milky Way. Kristen's dead. She has no idea what I'm saying.
I heard you. It's hard to stay awake and stuff. I'm like, stop going out.
So,
next.
well, one of the things I think is interesting is I was talking to Chad about this. It's like, is it relaxing?
Yes.
Because I never focus on it in my marketing.
Yeah. No, it's so relaxing. I can't stay awake.
Yeah, you're just like and we train all the time,
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
always
like,
fall asleep.
Kristen, wait, I'm
I
trying to teach here. I'm trying to get some feedback.
And caffeine before I came. I was like, do not fall asleep, and I'm like,
Flip
I'm mostly awake.
to the other side for me. So we're gonna repeat the same thing on the opposite side. This is again us just opening up the upper back, opening up the neck. This is like the preparation for the deeper work that we're going to do, that compression. I want to make sure to get her hair out of the way, so don't step on it. You got cup marks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I've been trying to maintain.
So again, right next to her, right? Gonna grab right around the shoulder here. Good grip there. So I can lean back and over. This stuff is interesting to me because it looks super simple. Like, I think this isn't very flashy for TV,
No,
so to speak.
it's not.
But how's it feel?
So good.
Ding, 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 ding.
So
We
good.
have a winner.
Oh, two guys, that was brutal.
Oh, my shoulder feels better.
Yeah, I felt that.
So what I was doing here is like I was kind of moving my shoulder blades while I was opening up her chest, right? So if I just slouch all day, it makes my spine feel cramped. What I was doing was using her as a weight. So I was like leaning back and kind of stretching my own neck, stretching through my own chest, moving my own body.
Hey, this is my session. We both get a stretch in this.
Now, she thinks I'm working on her, but what we do is we trick the receiver into working on us. Right through there. Oh, yeah. So from here, it's like I'll, again, trying to get her to give me her shoulder blade just so I can make this free and move. Again, when I'm leaning back, we're primarily hitting, I think, levator scapula and the trapezius. If I roll back, I'm getting a little bit more of pectoralis major and minor, but I want to be able to open that stuff up, which means pulling that shoulder blade down to lengthen levator scapula and trapezius. Though it's a very simple move, this just feels super, super nice. It's deep, but it's usually not like overwhelming to the receiver. Some of the compressions can be a bit much, especially if you're heavy-handed in the beginning. So I think I've opened the bulk of this up. I want to bring her head just a little bit further forward. Again, I just want to create that little bit of length back here. If she has her head back, it feels like there's not as much space for me to lean down with my forearm or elbow. So I'm going to go ahead and come up, kind of change my position, because I want to be able to kind of hook right here and get towards the base of the neck. And again, I've got this receptive palm under my thigh so that I can, what do you think, Kristen? In there? Okay, so a little bit up or down? A little bit lower? Okay. Now, posterior? There we go. Now, I wouldn't have thought that was the direction she wanted me to go. But when I give her the option, do you see how it changes the nature of the session? She's able to choose. So instead of me kind of wondering if I'm going to the good spot, she just tells me, oh, right there. When she's well trained, here's what she'll do. She'll take her arm and go, put your elbow. She's like, right there. She almost moves me into position. I want you to understand that as we're teaching, I want you to feel like you can communicate and actually have the person go right to the area that you need help with. The communication helps the session. Right there, Kristen. So when I lean forward, you see where my shoulder is compared to my elbow? The reason why is because I'm trying to do this and like lean almost backwards. I want to be able to lean back so that I can deliver that pressure at the angle that she wanted. I can completely change my body, a little lower, what do you think? Or is it better here? Do you see the angle depends on the shoulder to the elbow? If you see me do this with my knees, it's from the hip to the knee. You're looking at that angle to determine how to replicate what we're doing. Right there. He's like, I'm dead. Then I get to change things up and make her think that I'm working on her as I stretch my own arm and pec and right there. Reach to the fingers. Oh, right in there. Then gonna lift up, just give her a second. Some of those compressions can be pretty intense, so sometimes I tend to release very slowly instead of just jumping out. And then also give them just a second to kind of like rest before I go in for the second pass, which is a little bit more to the middle this time. What do you think there, Kristen? Is that too sharp? A little broader? Right there? Okay. Now, up. Right there. So I feel like I'm getting at this upper portion again. And again, even though the neck muscles are inordinately complex, you don't need to memorize each of those. It's just to give you an idea of those neck muscles making all those small movements. The ones that I kind of wanted to focus on were the semispinalis capitis and the suboccipitals. As I go more towards the base, do you see how I'm hitting those towards the base of the skull? Right in there. And you do so in a way that allows you to like break dance with the other arm. Yeah. And they don't even know what you're doing. They can't see. Yeah, you do the sorry. And Kristen, what do you think? Just a little bit more towards the base right there? Is that too much? Is it too sharp? Okay, it was a little too sharp, a little more towards the elbow. I'm gonna change my position just a little bit. How's that? Is that better? A little rough? Okay, is it too much pressure? Okay, how's that?
Better.
There we go. Now up or down? Up. All right, pressure's okay?
Yeah.
And this is the sort of stuff you have to check on. I've done this 9 million times. She wants just a little lighter pressure up here for whatever reason. Doesn't matter to me. It actually makes her session better when she's able to guide through the session.
Do it slightly less like
Easier? Now, that was almost imperceptible on camera. And all I did was I had my body a little further this way and I just leaned back just a little bit. It's just to take pressure off of this flow into her neck right here. She wanted just a little bit less. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't seem stressful. It's easy to deliver. When your partner's like, oh, will you rub my neck? Why are you going to use this? Ow. Ow. Why are you spending all these ow? Fingers? No. Not a good tool. Forearms. Big forearms. And as I slowly back off, I'm going to go ahead and have Kristen lay on her back. I'm going to take this pillow out for the time being. We're going to move that guy.
Okay.
I'm going to grab a blanket for me so I can kind of extend my mat so I feel like I'm sitting at nearly the same level she is. I want to be able to lengthen and kind of pull through the neck here. It's going to be interesting.
Want me to come towards you?
Nah, I got it.
Okay.
So
I thought that was my watch making noises.
one, I lift and kind of pull the hair out of the way. You want to grab individual strands. Ow. So I want to scoop with a couple of fingertips on this left side and just strip, slide up and over the neck to the base of the skull there. Just rotating hand to hand. See if you can see it from this angle. Gonna scoop this time with the right hand. Couple of fingers right there. Sliding along with some lift. It's also this movement, this head side to side, getting a little bit of length on the neck itself, hooking the fingers. If you find that the person, I get clients like this, you ever have a big head? Just heavy? It's like a big boulder? Yes. So you can use both hands, then you can just lift, right? You don't have to worry as much about the stripping. You might just be holding and then gently mobilizing. Another thing is I want to keep an eye on their facial expressions because I want to see if they're having any response to what I'm doing. If I notice that they wince, I'm going to back off or ask them for feedback. I'm going to lift and strip there again. Put this back down. Going to lift and strip there again. And bring her over to the side. Bring her over again. And then finally, I'm going to turn the head just gently in a way that she feels is comfortable, like with her range of motion. And then what I want to do here is I'm going to reach the left hand over and I'm going to pull and lengthen. There's a little bit of slide here. I'm just allowing some traction and length through the neck. And once I get a little bit of their kind of end range, a little bit of end range of motion, now I'm going to press down into the shoulder and start to open those areas areas of the upper back and neck again. And I'm gonna bring her back to neutral and then slowly help her rotate to the opposite side. This time I'm gonna reach over with the right hand and I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna do a little bit of both. She's dead. She gave the universal hand gesture of "I'm dead."
That hand signal was, "I'm here, text me," but I won't be answering your call because I'm sleeping.
So I've got her face and her head generally at like neutral. Here's what I'm gonna do. I want you to watch my hand position on this as I get into the muscles of the face. Complex, but I don't want you don't have to worry about one specific muscle. It's just not necessary. You know, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take my hands and I'm gonna split over the chin. You getting cold?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna grab here, but there's gonna be a little bit of slide. Even though we haven't applied any oils, I'm just gonna hook over the chin and split the hands. I'm gonna slowly slide out over and around the cheekbones and then up around the temples, moving up towards the temporalis. You can kind of drag the fingers along with, just as long as you're not pressing towards their eyes. Low and slow. Then I can split right over the forehead. Is that too much, Kristen?
Nope.
Okay. She had just a little shift. I was just making sure everything was okay.
I was like,
Oh, started to snore.
no, I was supposed to sleep. Bye-bye. I'll like, do I have to go to sleep now? Okay.
And then I'm going to put my hands directly back on the forehead, but I'm going to gently split across the forehead, go out over the tops of the eyebrows, and then start to come out around the temples. I'm going to curl my fingers in, down over the temples. It's really some length to temporalis there. And then I'm going to hook my fingers around the ears. If you find like an earring, just try to work around the earring. This isn't super hard. This is a very broad finger. It's not very sharp, it's very broad. If I want, I can split the fingers from the thumbs and the fingertips, just under the nose and over the cheeks. Can do another pass over the nose with the thumbs. I can go over the eyebrows. Tons of options here. Feel free to play with these. It's very, very simple, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift her head here and I'm going to bring it just a little bit to the left and into my hand so that I can move her around. I want to be able to reach with the live long and prosper. Thank you, Ospak. Nanu. So you're going to be able to hook around the ear, and this way you're going to be able to hook right into that temporalis. I'm going to show that here in just a second because we're able to work right into the scalp, right into the temporalis. As I'm going in there, I'm trying to grab the tissues of that muscle and work that around the jaw and around the neck. Now, as I'm working here, you can see that hand split over the ear. I can also bring the fingers behind and start to work the posterior of the scalp at the back. Super, super relaxing. Oh, yeah. Then I'm going to bring her right back to neutral, pulling the hair out of the way so I don't grab any strands and like pull it out. Then I'm going to rotate her head to the opposite direction. Again, this right hand is going to get a good grip. I'm going to be able to reach in now with the left hand. Nanu, live long and prosper. Right in there. Right over the ear. Right into temporalis. Right through there. Just a little bit of musculoskeletal anatomy helps. I'm going to pull my hand out on this side so I can show that. Again, just that little bit of knowledge of that location, very, very important. I feel like Kristen has just a little bit more tension right on this side. So what I'm going to do is, Kristen, I'm going to continue to work right in here. Can you yawn for me? Kristen is dead.
I'm not adjust.
Yawn for me.
I can't stay awake. Bye.
Yawn for me. Ah. Now, when she yawns in that big open mouth, it lengthens the fibers of the temporalis. It's a way of getting some active mobilization. If you have people that have like temporomandibular joint dysfunction or some sort of issue, that can feel just amazing to them. I'm going to put my hand back underneath, and this is so I have a little bit of movement here so I can reach behind and get the base of the skull along with all of the muscles over the scalp. And then pulling the hair up. This is something that I love in particular. I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to pull the hair up and over. And then I want to be able to grab all of the hair. Okay, I'm going to slowly do this kind of in a balanced way over the top of the scalp. I'm not trying to pull individual strands because that'll definitely hurt. Okay, but I'm trying to get a good grip here. And then I'm going to twist and twist and twist and get some snug and twist and twist and twist. And then slowly I'm going to traction and just lean back because it's all the hair, not just individual strands. And I twisted this way the first time. The second time I'm going to do it the opposite direction. Back to the center and twist and twist and twist and twist. And right there. Dismount. Perfect 10. You dead, Kristen?
Yeah, I could just stay here. That was great.
She's like, I'm dead.
I don't know if you guys fell asleep, but I certainly had so much trouble.
So we're going to take a quick bathroom break. Just feel free to go ahead and, switch out partners, take a bathroom break, get a drink of water. We'll be back in just a minute, guys.